Hi guys, and welcome back to the vlog. So today I'm going to be running through my top 10 winter carp fishing tips that hopefully will help you to bag some more carp and obviously hopefully get a new kind of winter PB. So firstly, thank you to everybody who has subscribed in the last kind of month or two. Again, it's gone up quite significantly. Thank you to everyone who has now followed me on Instagram. Again, it's gone up quite a bit, so I appreciate it. It's always good to see your caches and get the interaction. This video was requested a few times by a couple of the followers on Instagram, so I thought only fair to hopefully deliver what you want to deliver. Now again, thank you to everyone for spending some time, and if you haven't already, then please do subscribe and like, comment, etc. All feedback's appreciated. The following tips really are my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree, you may have other tips. So if you've got a couple of other tips and some things that you think I may have missed, please leave a comment down below. Again, I'm not the fountain of all knowledge. These videos, as you may know if you've seen them before, it's more about taking you along with my sessions, give you some kind of hints and tips, a couple of new baits, a couple of new kind of tactics and rods, etc. So hopefully you'll get some value out of this and you'll enjoy the next 10 tips. Okay, so fishery choice, quite an important one. What you want to really be trying to do is to target your kind of smaller, highly stocked kind of lakes. In the summer, obviously, as they would normally be known as runs waters, so I definitely convince you to go to, encourage you to go to runs water. You want to try and find probably the shallower area of the lake. It's going to be warming up a lot quicker, especially in those kind of early mornings, late evenings. That's probably where you're going to have more time, but I will come back to that shortly. But yeah, generally, smaller lakes, highly stocked, that's where you want to go first. And baiting, so this is quite an important one for me. You don't want to be throwing in a ton of bait when you first start a session. In the winter, you need to completely change your habits. You need to go there, maybe even fish singles, to be honest. I'd probably say the one thing that kind of works for me is small kind of PVA bags, PVA sticks, etc. Remember, again, it's a very old cliche, but when it's in, you can't take it out. And fish at this time of year, they're not starving. They're not going to be hunting around all day for different kind of baits. They're going to pick their moments. There's going to be certain periods of the day where they're going to be feeding more. So you need to probably keep it simple, start slow. You can build up a little bit. Don't go too heavy on the potholes. As I said, keep it simple. If you're a boilie fisher, boilie angler rather, then just keep it small kind of 2-3 boilies on a kind of PVA mesh stick, or again whatever works best for you. But don't go over baiting. It's probably the number one sin for me that you can pretty much make it this time of year. Okay, another big one for me is warmth. This is all about layers. You don't want to be having a t-shirt and just a jumper on top, so you want to build those layers up, get a few kind of thermal layers. I'll probably advise you maybe to get like a bit of an undersuit, basically, thermal undersuit. So they're not very expensive. And again, go outdoors. Your local kind of fishing tackle shop will probably have these, Amazon, eBay, etc. So definitely kind of build up that. You want to be having kind of thick kind of thermal socks. Obviously, if you're doing an overnight session, then you need to make sure you take a couple of spares, because you're going to get sweaty. It's as simple as that. So what I would probably say as well is about keeping warm. If you are warm on the bank, that's fantastic. That means you've done the right thing. However, don't be tempted to take off jumpers, take off coats, take off different things, because it's creating that kind of warmth barrier. And you want to make sure that you don't take anything off. If you're warm, great, you've done what you needed to do. Don't make yourself cold again, because you're going to find it so much harder to warm yourself up. In terms of kind of footwear, actually, this is one thing I think I learned the hard way. So I used to have wellies. I still have wellies, but I used to wear them in the evenings, and I found that kind of wearing more heavy duty kind of boots, quality boots, really, even walking, hiking boots, if you like. So as long as they're a good kind of quality, that's probably an easier way to go. They seem to hold the temperature a lot better than general Wellington boots do. So again, keeping warm is really, really important. If you don't have a bivy heater, then all I would say is, you probably want to consider getting one. You can get anything from kind of like candle tea light type versions through to full-blown kind of gas heaters. One thing, a word of warning, and I'm sure you've heard this one before: if you are using a gas burner to keep yourself warm, make sure that the bivy is very well isolated. There's been too many stories, especially this time of year, where people zip everything up, they put the gas cooker on, they fall asleep, or the gas boiler rather, they don't wake up again. So be really, really careful with that. But either way, you've got to keep warm. If you're not keeping warm, you will not enjoy your fishing, and you actually probably just wish that you've gone home. So keep warm is the one of my main priorities. And this one feeds quite nicely onto the previous section about keeping warm. So food is really important. Obviously, you don't want to be hungry, and even that aside, I mean, food keeps your body temperature up. You can wrap yourself up as much as you want, but if you're not keeping your body fueled, again, you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to be cold, you're going to be uncomfortable, you're going to be hungry, and again, early kind of times when I started, I made that mistake. And don't just take crisps and stuff like that. Yeah, you want a few snacks, but make sure you've got a good quality kind of stove. Even a mini stove would do. Take some kind of chicken, bacon, eggs. Take some simple stuff that really you can do in a couple of minutes. I've actually got a toasty maker. I love them toasties, so I'd say definitely take down the toasty maker with you as well. And you know, you can cheese, bacon, eggs, you name it, whatever you want. So make sure you go there fully prepared, plenty to drink, plenty to eat. You are going to feel the benefit. So a nice quick on this one. So your location on a lake is probably one of the most important things that you're going to do. So when you turn up, again, do the normal thing, scout around, see what's around. But definitely at this time of year, be speaking to the bailiff. When a recent couple of trips up to Baden Hall, which, as you'll see from my previous videos, is quite a hot spot for me. It's really important you actually ask around, because at this time of year they're probably going to be holding up in the shallower areas, especially in the kind of early morning, late evening, because again the water temperature will warm up quite a bit. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier in shallower water, so the chances are they're going to be holding up there. But speak to the bailiff and see if there's a constant kind of area within kind of Baden Hall. I think it's on the dam pool. There is if you're looking at Baden, so there's actually a kind of overhanging tree that's at the top end of the dam pool, so a lot of the carp will actually hide out under there. There has been an underwater I think it was Carl G, I think it was. He actually had his underwater camera on there, so it showed all the carp hanging up, and I think it was at the point where you could have dropped a bait on their head and they didn't want to know. So again, you want to be as close as you can to the carp to have any real chance of catching. Let's face it, like any time of the year, if you're not on the fish, you're wasting your time. Yeah, bait enhancements. So this is quite a simple one, a straightforward one. I mean, you don't need to go out and buy really expensive kind of bait, glugs and bits like that. Obviously, you can do. If you use the hydrobait stuff, then go on the hydrobaits, and there's a few glugs on there. If you're somebody who likes to use sticky baits and mainline, then great. Again, there's options on there for you as well. But what I would say is, even look at some home remedies. So, like I said earlier on in the video, you're not going to be kind of chucking in a load of particle baits, you're not going to be chucking in a load of boilies. So attraction is probably the most important thing here. So what I would say is, my real simple tip is to dip your kind of boilies in a glug or a liquid of some kind, and just to enhance that a little bit more. Again, they're not going to be feeding heavy. You want to try and instill a bit of an urgent reaction, so they smell something and it's more about the urgency of trying to get that bait. So again, really straightforward, but make sure you enhance your baits. Don't just go for a boilie that has been in the bag for 6 months. You want to try and do whatever you can to do that. Some people even kind of reboil them. They put a bit of like turmeric or paprika. Again, that actually does work pretty well. It's worked for me in the past once or twice. So again, just keep your options open, but definitely enhance your baits. It could make all the difference. And that takes me on to obviously alternative baits. So I know what pretty much all of us that we use boilies exclusively. I think sometimes we do experiment, but I think one thing I'd probably really raise on this one, the good old maggot is really, really good option for you, especially again if you're going to a heavily stocked lake. Now, yeah, we obviously want to catch carp. That's the general, target for all of us. But if you're going to a heavily stocked lake, I mean, especially this time of year, fishing generally at this time is a bit of a bonus. So if you will basically find a lot of carp will be really attractive to maggot. It's it's a cheap, simple option, and again, there's maggot clips, so have a look on eBay, Amazon, etc. Maggot clips are a really good kind of target for this time of year. Um, and again, you can even have little kind of dips and different things like that you can enhance your maggots with if you don't want to put too many in, because again, obviously with maggots, because of the size, it's really easy to kind of overfeed. So keep it simple. Maggots are a really, really good idea, and again, it adds that movement attraction that naturally a boilie doesn't give them. So again, have a look at maggots. They may just make the difference for you. Quite a big one for me. So you want to be picking either first thing in the morning or late thing in the kind of evening time, so just before it kind of goes dark. Again, it's pretty much a reason why a lot of us do night fishing, because again, it's the fishing under the kind of illusions of darkness. It can obviously help a big difference, but I'd say this really comes down to temperature more than anything else. So as I've already kind of said earlier on, shallower water heats up a lot more. That kind of early morning kind of winter sun, low-lying sun, it will warm them temperatures right up. So you want to be trying to pick your sessions, and don't necessarily go and do 10, 12, 14-hour sessions. That's a bit of a brutal time of year to be doing this, but if you want to do that, that's fine. But for me personally, I'd rather kind of rock up at 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe even earlier, it depends, but again, do a few hours sessions, and then when it kind of goes down the normal 11, 12 o'clock, which isn't always the slowest time of the day, maybe go and have a look around the lake, spot a few things that you want to try out in the summer months, and then come back, again, late afternoon, evening, and then just try and nab those kind of last few fish before it goes dark. So time of day is really important. I'd probably try and couple this with looking at the actual weather forecast a couple of days before. Now, one thing I'll probably say is you want to avoid really low minus temperatures when you're going to do kind of an early morning session, especially if there's been a few days of minus temperatures, because that's going to the effect that -5, -6 type temperatures are going to have day after day, just for a few hours with the sun in the morning is quite limited. So you want to try and go, if you can, where it's kind of freezing temperatures, maybe single digit figures in your favour. Really good time to try and get into the lake. That will really help warm things up quite quickly and give you, again, a much easier chance of trying to catch them carp. Okay, yeah, as the title says, don't experiment. This is not a time for experimenting in the winter. Leave that for the summer. You want to try and stick to things that you know. So again, whether that be boilies or using maggots or luncheon meat, whatever works for you, but don't do something that you don't know. Don't try new rigs or new kind of tactics. I mean, rods, reels, etc. doesn't really matter, but in terms of new baits, stick to what you know, because confidence is a big thing in fishing. I think we all know that. Until we get hooked on a certain boilie or a certain kind of method, we generally are a bit nervous about how things go. So stick to what you know. Don't try new things. This isn't the time to do it. And finally, so we're travelling light. Again, really, really important for a couple of reasons, really. Firstly, again, you don't really want to be hauling a load of equipment. There's really no need for it unless you're doing long kind of 48-hour sessions, which I guess in the winter you may not be. Now, what I'll probably advise you to do is you can get a small kind of over the head kind of carry bag, put your basics in there, hooks, weights, the scourges, etc. As you can probably see up over here, just a very cheap, simple kind of landing kind of bag as well. So just take the essentials with you, because again, those early times of the day and late evening, you're going to want to be looking out for the fish signs like we always do, but this is really, really important. So you want to be able to pick your bits up and move, even if it's just a couple of pegs down. You don't want to be having to trawl a lot of equipment or worrying about leaving expensive equipment back at the bank. So travel light, don't take your trolleys, etc. Keep it simple. You will thank me for that one. It's a mistake that I have made a couple of times in the past, and you always learn. So yeah, definitely something to be doing. Maybe if you have, some people, not everyone has them, but maybe a stalker rod is probably a good thing to do, because as I mentioned earlier on, the majority of fish will hold up in those weedy kind of overhanging branches. So travel light, and it will make a lot of things easier.